104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.
104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, and Jay Stevens. It is Wednesday when we...
Rip it apart. Oh, I thought you were checking level on that.
No.
Should we check level? Is it already going? Is this thing on? Is this live radio?
We're moving. We're moving.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Present and accounted for, sir.
Jay Stevens is here. So we've got...
The party can start.
Rip it apart Wednesday. Today the subject is Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Ooh, Flea,
Frusciante, Anthony Kiedis, Chad Smith, one of my favorite bands growing up, still are, and well, we can get into that later. Anyway, so
and I've got a random story about this band too.
Let's do it here.
You want it now? You want the random story? Random Red Hot Chili Peppers story. Living in Hawaii, fresh out of high school, singing in a bar band in a nightclub there a couple nights a week. Chili Peppers rented a house to record their album. I think to record that Blood, Sex, Sugar, Magic album, perhaps, or maybe the one before that.
It might have been the one before that.
Anyway, they rent this house to record at. Big news because everybody knew about it because it's a small town. Cops kept going over there and telling them to turn it down, this and that. So they were in town renting scooters, and they showed up at the bar. Long story short, they showed up at the bar where I was playing. Drummer gets up and jams with us, breaks my drummer's cymbal. So we're like, okay, whatever, that sucks, but we'll keep playing, right? Next day, we show up to play, and there's a brand new cymbal sitting there signed by him.
It's awesome.
For my drummer.
I'm sure he had plenty to give away.
Yeah, I'm sure he had plenty.
Give it away. Anyway, so...
that's my random story.
No, I think that would have been the one before. It was probably Mother's Milk because this one was recorded at the mansion in Laurel.
That's right.
Because if you watch...
They rented a house in Hollywood for this one or something.
Yeah. The Monks documentary about making this, they're talking about how the house is haunted and all this stuff is going on.
Spooky music.
Anyway, so this song was definitely a different direction for the band. It's interesting to note, up until this point, they were pretty much a party band, a
punk rock band, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were just a funk band. I mean, it was George Clinton who pretty much got them out of the open. And then they get up with Rick Rubin, and Rick Rubin is like, let's see what you got, Anthony. What kind of songs you got? And he's going through his notebook and finds this poem called Under the Bridge. At first, Anthony didn't really want to record the song. He was like, it's too revealing. It's not the style this band really has portrayed, and this is going to completely put us off in a different direction.
Well, it's a little slow of a song to be jumping around with socks on your wang.
Yeah, but that's what they did, man. They did it, and that's the way, the Chili Peppers do their thing. So let's get into the vocal part of this.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend.
And part of it is the fact that up until this point, Kiedis didn't really sing.
No.
He's not really a singer. He's a rapper,
a jumper
for sure.
and a shouter, yeah.
Yeah, he's more of a jumper and a shouter.
A funk singer.
A funk singer.
Yeah.
And he did a good job. Ruben did a really good job of kind of crafting the way he sang in this song. And it's also interesting to note that the song kind of came from him dealing with sobriety because, he'd been hooked on heroin, he'd been hooked on cocaine, and then eventually he stopped. But Flea and Frusciante continued on their path. Flea didn't really do heroin, but they definitely smoked a lot of pot. And Anthony couldn't be around any of it. So he felt alienated from his friends. He felt like he didn't have anyone with him. And this is kind of where this song came from.
Very interesting.
And depressing.
Deep. Sad.
Very sad. We'll get to more Rip It Apart Wednesday, Under the Bridge from the Red Hot Chili Peppers on the way next on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave. I'm Mike the Intern in the studio with Jay Stevens this morning. It is Rip It Apart Wednesday. The subject on the table is Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
We've assumed that now that this is a sad Chili Pepper song. We've learned the story. It's a sad tale.
Sad tale. And so after Anthony goes into the studio with the rest of the band, he reads the poem that he had written. Immediately afterwards, I guess, Flea and Frusciante got up, went to their instruments, and wrote this song.
And this just came out?
And it was
That's the way to write a song, guys.
They're very, very good musicians. And Frusciante really good in the sense that they always say, jazz musicians, blues musicians, you just take pieces of different guys and create your own sound.
Yeah.
Frusciante definitely.
I can hear that here. Yeah.
Definitely did that. I mean, first off, we got this Hendrix thing right here. You know what I mean?
And this has now become an iconic riff. You know it, right? When you hear this, you know exactly what it is.
Immediately.
Could this be their biggest commercial song?
I wouldn't. I'd say it was close.
It might be.
The only song they played more live is "Give It Away."
Right.
So this is the second most played song. I think it's like 600 times or something like that. It's a lot of times to play a song. But yeah, it's real Hendrixy, and I guess he also kind of ripped off Mark Bolan from T-Rex. He said there's a song called "Rip Off" off Electric Warrior, and it's kind of got this
great album,
E major seventh chord technique, that he's using on this, and you can hear it. It's very, very cool, and I'm glad that he did because I love the chord structure on this song. It's one of my favorite things about it. So
that chord right there,
yeah, that's such a cool riff and chord. We'll get to more Rip It Apart Wednesday on the way next on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio together for Rip It Apart Wednesday this morning.
Neither of us are wearing socks on our wangs.
We're not wearing any kind of socks, any of those places. And so, as I was speaking about, or we were talking about, this was a very depressing song about doing drugs under a bridge and realizing that you've gone as low as you possibly can go.
Happy Wednesday!
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Kiedis has never revealed the fact of where the bridge is. And a lot of people have done a different, sleuthing to try and figure out where this was
which
in LA.
bridge this is.
MacArthur Park is one of the places. You
Okay, I know where it is. Yeah, I know where it is.
Other cited locations included the Belmont Tunnel, about a half mile.
These are all heavily populated homeless areas.
Yeah, and then under I-10 on the Santa Monica Freeway.
Yeah, that's where they shoot a lot of. Anytime you see a commercial or a video that has a big huge drainage ditch, that's always shot. Yeah, it's all shot there. Yeah, Grease.
Yeah.
I was hired to skateboard in a Foot Locker commercial there when I was a kid once on these banks. And
don't touch the water; you're gonna get.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's very, very. It's right there in downtown, and people shoot tons of stuff there. So yeah, I don't know.
Cool stuff. So we'll never know. He'll never talk about it. But what we do know is that song has an insane bass player.
Well, Flea, one of the greatest rock bass players there is.
Yeah, one of the greatest bass players there is.
Yeah, it's true. He's kind of universal, isn't he?
I mean, as a jazz and funk bass player.
And he seems very weird, but when you hear him talk, he's super intelligent.
He comes across
crazy.
as a weirdo.
He comes across as a nut.
He is so smart.
So intelligent, yeah.
Very, very smart guy. And the bass player, I mean, come on, you can't. I mean, the way that, and this Chad's drumming is really simple, but again, we like to, kind of let go little nuggets of information. Bass players, the reason why this bass line works so well is because he's matching the kick drum of the drummer. So when you're playing bass and you're doing your thing with your band, make sure you match that kick because that makes it sound so good and funky and in time. But it's so simple, but it's just got this great groove to it.
Are we sure it's Chad Smith on drums, or is it Will Ferrell?
No, his brother.
They look.
I think they kind of just. Sometime Will Ferrell would show up and play drums.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wish I had a stunt double.
And look like Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
you kind of do. Just long
I
hair.
do a little, but I wish I had a guy that looked like me. I'd be twice as good.
That'd be crazy. And very scary for all of them. We'll conclude last letter. We will.
Yeah, where are we at now?
I don't know what it is.
We'll recruit the doubling of Jay Stevens after the break.
That's right.
Cloning of Jay Stevens.
We're going to break some laws here on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio. Rip It Apart Wednesday. We are talking about Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now, one of my favorite
Yeah, there it is.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of this song is obviously the outro, and I think is everyone's favorite part of this song. And
it gets very layered.
Very, very, very layered. Now, up until this point, up until today, I had no idea there's organ on this thing. I mean,
it's hidden. I had no idea there was acoustic guitar, and I think I just heard acoustic guitar.
And it's weird because it's so layered at the end of it. And it also, Rick Rubin produced this thing, but Brendan O'Brien also was the engineer and helped mix the record. He's also producing royalty, in my opinion. He had something to do with that as well. When you're recording a record, sometimes when you put vocals together, it creates different sounds that aren't intended. Like if you have background vocals, it sounds like an organ sometimes, even if there isn't one there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's where I kind of felt like this was.
I sound like a kazoo a lot.
You gotta do. Anyway, so obviously we found this little nugget here.
There's serious organ right there.
There's that organ. And then you go into the acoustic.
Hammering that acoustic, too.
Yeah. Great room reverb in that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, we were talking about that part. The background vocals done by the band, and John Frusciante brought his mom in and her friends to sing those real high parts. And they're hitting it.
Sounds like I would have thought it was like a gospel choir.
Hitting it. I love it.
That's awesome.
And then this bass line at the end.
Yep.
The bass
Flea
solo.
brings it home. Yeah, man.
He's the bass. We're both in here just geeking out. So without further ado, Under the Bridge, Red Hot Chili Peppers right here on 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.